So I'm Debbie North. And I do have a little dog with me called Tip. She's actually under the table now. You might find her under your table later on because she doesn't like the sound of the speakers coming through. So I love the outdoors. My dad said I should be born in a field because I was always outdoors as a child. I had a very inspirational teacher at school who got us into things like orienteering, camping at the weekends. We had a school farm then up in the Peak District. And so I am now, I've been appointed by the Cabinet Office as the Disability and Access Ambassador for the countryside. I'm also a champion for Ordnance Survey and an ambassador for the Ramblers. Safe to say, I love the outdoors, but people ask me, why? Why do I love the outdoors? And the word I use is the freedom. You know, that feeling when I've climbed to the top of a mountain and I'm there in the crisp, cold air, a bit like today, and feeling that idea of solitude, the tranquility, that sense of achievement that I've done it. I set out to get to the top, and I did it. We all know the statistics are out there. There's so much evidence about how important the outdoors is, and it does give you that feeling of being energised. It also states that walking by water aids better sleep. This was taken on the wild Atlantic coast in Southern Ireland. Never did I think that I would be able to get these views again as such in the Lake District. Once disability took over my body and that I could no longer walk, and, I was a very keen hill walker, I had to start exploring ways of getting outdoors, and thankfully there are ways for me now to be able to get up back in my mountains and to share moments with the loved ones. This is climbing up towards Blencathra in the Lake District, spending time with my husband out there enjoying the countryside. 2015, I decided that I wanted to do the coast to coast in an all-terrain wheelchair. People said I was crackers. My husband said I was crackers, but we did it. And we probably did it in a very naive way, in that we looked at a map and decided that there was a system of bridleways that we could follow, and we presumed by the nature of bridleways everything would be accessible. However, we did come across some obstacles in the way. One was for me, for keeping warm. You know, as walkers, you get the body heat. We've seen your expert running around the room keeping warm. But for me, all I'm doing is using my finger to operate the all-terrain wheelchair. So I feel the cold, and wrapping appropriately like this and being a Michelin man is one of the downsides of not creating with body heat. We came across locked gates, and this is on Forestry Commission land. This was one gate that was locked to stop motorcyclists and scramble bikers using the forest tracks, but it also stopped me. I finished up going another 4 miles round while Andy nipped over the stile and he waited for me. He said, "Bugger that, I'm not walking round again." So I did it on my own. When you think of that lock gate, then perhaps this is overkill. Each of the locks does actually open the gate, but it's for different. It was actually for a British Telecom mast, and all the parties have all got a different lock to unlock for their access to the gate. Sometimes you need a PhD to understand how to actually open the gate, as in this one. If anyone still understands it, please see me later for an explanation. We came across barriers down on tracks. This is over the North York Moors. Again, it's an old railway line. It's not classed as a bridleway. And so by rights, they do have the right to put the barrier down. But by putting the barrier down, it stops me getting round. This here is little horse style. My all-terrain wheelchair can climb over it, but something like what I'm in now in my manual wheelchair or a normal power chair, my journey comes to an end once I reach that horse style. I don't know how we did it, but 14 days later, we reached Robin Hood's Bay, and it was an absolute learning curve in the way that we look at accessibility to the countryside. It was actually the start of my career. Before that, I was primary head teacher. Now I've become an expert in the countryside and accessing it for people with disabilities. I started doing a lot of writing. I did do a lot of campaigning. My role as working with the minister is to go back and feed back to the minister what's actually happening on the ground. Whether it's heard, I don't know, but I certainly get the right nods in the right places. But it's about keep knocking at the door to make people aware that certain changes need to be made to make a countryside for everyone. So I talk about wheelchairs as being my shoes. I liken them to my shoes. And this wheelchair that I'm sat in, and this one here at Cotter Force in the Yorkshire Dales, this is my work shoes. You know that pair of shoes that you forget that you've got on. You go and put them on every single day. It's so comfy. I don't even think about my wheelchair now as an aid. It's part of my body. And it's specially made for me. So it's quite robust actually and gets over quite good ground, and I do have interchangeable tyres so I can put outdoor all-terrain tyres on should I need it. But when I want my trainers on, I have a power wheel attachment, and this just fits to the front of my wheelchair, and it makes it into like a little three-wheeler scooter, electric scooter. Brilliant for country paths like around this estate here. Brilliant for disused railways, multi-purpose tracks, and I say I do like a bit of adrenaline and I do like a bit of speed. This though is my Four Seasons hiking boot. This is the terrain hopper, and it's got the ability to climb, and this is my preferred one. I do like to be remote, and I do like to get higher, and I do like to get further. And basically what I'm saying is, you know, there isn't one size fits all. Everywhere, if you're thinking about different wheelchairs, you need to take into account the type of person that will be using it and the terrain that you're climbing over, which I'll talk about in a couple of minutes. These wheelchairs are expensive. The terrain hopper that you've just seen is about £18,000. The wheelchair that I'm sat in now is £5,000. They're out of pocket for most people, and to have a second wheelchair for accessing the outdoors is sometimes near on impossible. But there are some fantastic schemes that are popping up around the UK. This here is at Dalston Country Park, where Countryside Mobility have over 50 locations where you can borrow. This machine is called a tramper. People can join up to a scheme for a small membership fee, and they can get out and access some of the beautiful parks, landscapes, coastal walks that are around the South West Coastal Path. Most National Trust properties now have all-terrain wheelchairs to borrow. Again, they're using the tramper. I will talk about that in a moment. But it's great for being able to access estates to get outdoors. This here is in the Lake District. We've got Countryside Outdoor Mobility, another charity that's set up different routes, and they're working also in the North York Moors. I can't do a presentation without mentioning the great man himself, Alfred Wainwright, the fell walker and writer. And this quote really sums up my life. We were made to soar, to crash to earth, then rise and soar again. When disability hit me back in 2011, I thought my world had finished. I had to pack up my career. I tried for some time to be a head teacher in a wheelchair. It was blooming hard work. I couldn't walk again, and to discover the things about all-terrain wheelchairs, I never even heard the term, but now I was back out again, and I was back out enjoying the countryside. Because when I stopped walking, my husband stopped walking because he said it wasn't the same without his walking partner. So it's not just about the person with disabilities, it's about the family unit and the friends that can all do things together and be inclusive. Unfortunately, 2021, Andy was diagnosed with a very aggressive form of cancer, and after 8 weeks he passed away, left me totally devastated, totally broken, but he wanted me to carry on the campaign for making sure that we create a countryside for everyone, and it's been bloody hard to do, because now I'm having to do it on my own. I'm having to get my wheelchairs in and out of my cars on my own, and it's not easy, and it's things that I took for granted that he got the chairs on and off the car for me. So, you know, life has changed again, but I'm picking myself up, and I'm out there, and I'm doing the stuff that I'm enjoying doing. We set up a charity in the Yorkshire Dales called Access the Dales, which is about getting people out into the Yorkshire Dales. The difference with us as a charity is that we have provided lots of different types of chairs for different abilities, for different terrains. So we have got a couple of terrain hoppers, their joystick control, their handlebar control. We have TGA breezers, which are lever controls. We've got a tramper that is like a throttle control, like operating a motorbike. So we're looking at the different types of ability, because one size does not fit all. So we've got the charity now, Access the Dales, and we're now getting groups of people coming into the Yorkshire Dales, and it's making a difference. We're getting people booking weeks' holidays in the Dales because they know they've got something to do every single day. I've got my 5-minute warning. So, just examples now of getting children outside as well. It's not just about the adults. Don't be fooled into thinking it's only over 14s. If it's on private land, children can use all-terrain wheelchairs. This is now one that we've got up in Malham Cove. I'm just flicking through. This is my favourite photo of a child and son out. He said he never thought that he'd take his son for a walk on the fells again. We've got manual wheelchairs for pushing people around. We organise rambles, that idea of socialisation that we've had mentioned before. It's a long journey. We've got a long and windy road to get through, but we can do it if we all work together. Getting people out of different cultural backgrounds, the disabled, cultural, multicultural, that is an area that has got to be worked upon. I'm writing a book at the moment, and I've just flicked back, about how people use the countryside to overcome adversity. And I'm meeting some absolutely amazing people. This here's Aaron. Aaron is a gay man who finds being bullied for not being manly enough to be out in the mountains, and he set up a walking group, a safe place for gay men to go out walking. I love that picture because we're on the bus. He made me use the bus. I haven't been on the transport system for absolutely ages, and he goes everywhere on trains and public transport. Just some of the, a collage of things that we're setting up. Wanted to mention a little bit that Amanda said about the Glover report. The Glover report fantastically mentioned about wheelchair accessibility. He talked about creating tarmac surfaces for wheelchairs. I disagree with him slightly, because it's not about creating a tarmac system of paths all the way around the UK. We're not wanting tarmacs up to the top of Scarfell Pike. We're not wanting Stanner stair lifts up to the top of Snowdon. You've seen the type of technology that is available for people to use. Not necessarily every time do we think about a tarmac path. In a park, slightly different because you've got that network already. But think about the type of wheelchair that you might be able to provide, because that will open up the countryside, not just for the person with disabilities, but also for the family and the friends. I specialise in wheelchair walks, but that's not the end of my abilities. I look at how people with autism experience the outdoors. Very often a person with autism likes to have a pre-visit before they actually visit. So having films available for people to be able to look at on YouTube before they go to it really enhances the experience, because you're taking away that anxiety. Providing toilet facilities, providing changing place facilities, the number of people that have to lay on the floor of public toilets to have sanitary ware changed, that shouldn't be happening. And changing places, if you don't know about them, provide changing tables for people to lay on. They provide hoists for getting out of the wheelchair and onto the changing table. If you're providing any kind of, in parks, think about your information boards, your contrasting colours, the height of boards. Think about how you're presenting the information for people with visual impairment, for hearing impairment. There's so much that we can do, and in the workshop this afternoon we'll put together sort of quick wins, which you can use, and also the long-term things. What do you want me to take back to government to say that things need to change? I don't know if I can get them to change, but at least if I can keep bombarding them with questions and solutions to things, they may listen and they may start realising that we need a countryside for all, and it's a basic human right for everybody to access nature. So I'm Debbie North, and that's me, and I think I've done okay. Right, thank you very much.